With the right mindset to write a good cold email or a good LinkedIn message is something you just text if you're just catching the bus.
I do think has helped me a lot with that because it simplifies it.
What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
I've had my pitches that were too general, where I was just trying to cast too wide of a net.
What I really see in the most successful customer of the weeks is they have one core. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SalesRobot Customer of the Week, a new show where we invite the best SalesRobot customers and go deep into their tactics, including things like targeting, messaging, and personalization, so that you can take away some tips and implement in your cold outreach starting tomorrow. Today on the show, we have Heather from Leeline. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. What does your business do and how do you make money?
Yes. So at Leeline, we are a boutique recruiting agency and we focus most heavily on tech recruiting. Within the tech industry, we really try to corner specific markets, both industry specific and tech specific. And so I think that's our biggest thing is that we really we go deeper rather than broad on the specific kind of roles and industries that we work in.
Awesome. And I would say that's worked pretty well for you. And that shows up in the stats because you had one of the best campaigns on our platform across 3,700 users. So, first of all, congrats on the campaign.
Thank you.
So, I'll share my screen and take everybody through the campaign so that they can see the stats themselves and then we can look at what made it so successful. So, these are the stats right here. We can see this has a 30%, almost a 31% acceptance rate, which is pretty high. Average acceptance rate is anywhere between 10 to 20%. And then the reply rate is just insane because the average reply rate is again around 10 to 20%. So, really good numbers. Awesome. So let's get into the campaign a little bit. Who were you reaching out to? Like, how did you decide the targeting list here?
Was a lot less time spent on the messaging. I feel like I just tried to turn it around fast, have it be conversational, something that I would just say like off the cusp if I was talking with somebody about this candidate, and probably spent a lot more of the research time on making sure it was the right people we were hitting. Like that's where the time came in, was having the team put that list together rather than feeling like I was coming up with some elaborate pitch, because it's not. It's just like pretty to the point and keeping things simple.
Yeah, no, I think that works. That works in your favor actually because it really did come across as super casual, right? And that's why people are replying. Like, one, I heard this advice from somebody who's one of the greatest cold emailers of all time. He has generated like millions in revenue off of cold email. And he was like, the right mindset to write a good cold email or a good LinkedIn message is something you just text if you're just catching the bus and you just, in a hurry, right? Like the bus is almost here. You just have to shoot out a message. That's the mindset you need to be to write actually a good message, right? And I think you exemplified that. That when you said that, I immediately thought back to that advice that he gave me. I was like, yeah, that's why this works, right? Because super casual, and you deliberate. I think you have a mistake in there, and it actually makes it better, makes it less automated.
Yeah, I always say, like, my mindset, I'm probably more of a doer than a perfectionist, and I probably sometimes I just like, "This candidate's awesome, like, I just gotta tell these people about him," and it's just about pushing it out rather than, like, clearly I didn't look back at the message too many times and spell check it, but yeah, I guess it worked out okay.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes these mistakes actually make people feel like, hey, this person just typed it out. This is not automated, right? Because if you are automating it, you would actually take a look. So this actually works in your favor.
Not done by AI, yeah.
Not done by AI. That's the most authentic thing you can build now. Mistakes are cool again. So at least in cold outreach. Okay, so you follow up with this. I thought this candidate could be a really strong match, but just let me know if the need is there. Thanks. Perfect. Again, super casual, super quick, one liner, clearly works well. And then um, yeah, talk me through the last message.
Yeah. So again, this is, the fourth time I'm hitting them up. So I'm trying as much as possible to not seem annoying. I'm never trying to annoy anybody. I'm just trying to call it again, like, hey, thought this person seemed like a really good match. If not, timing could totally be off. Please just let me know whenever the timing is right, and just trying to keep it very casual, keep in touch. I'm not the kind of person that's trying to sit and waste your time over something that's not relevant. So that's all I'm really trying to get at.
That's pretty good. Let's get into your journey then. What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
Yeah. So I think like everybody, I've had my pitches that were too general where I was just trying to cast too wide of a net. Sometimes I will get too excited. Say, like we've done a lot in the infrastructure space, and I'll have a number of good SREs. And I almost can't decide like who's the best one if I'm sticking with this kind of pitch where I am pitching a specific candidate. And I think I'll try to do too much in one thing. I'll be like, oh, so for all the companies looking for SREs that are really large scale infrastructure and they want that specific kind of experience, this candidate's going to be perfect. But then I also want to mention this candidate because in case they need somebody that's really a great software engineer, but kind of a hybrid SRE, then this will check that box for them. And I think over time, I've realized like just make two separate outreaches and maybe just hone in more on the enterprise type companies for this one. And maybe the startup mid-sized companies will be better for this person. And then you're always double checking, but well, last time that huge company did want this person. And so it's never going to be perfect. But I do think over time, like trying to do too much in one message and trying to be like, oh, I'm going to hit every point every person could need looking for an SRE just becomes too many words in a message. And so I think that's one of the big things I'm continually trying to do better at. This one was easy and really narrowed, so it ended up working well. But sometimes with the areas that are broader, trying to find better niches within those broader skill sets, and yeah, just trying to always narrow as much as possible.
Yeah, well, that's good advice because what I really see in the most successful customer of the weeks is they have one core ICP. It's a small campaign. It's not more than 200, 300 people. And then there's like not too many ideas that are being communicated across a campaign. It's like one idea, one core idea, right? So I think that's what really worked well for your XR campaign as well, because it's a very straightforward offer, right? And very niche skill that this person has. So clearly worked.
Definitely. Yeah. No, honing in. That was an easy, niche area to work. So trying to figure out how to do that with some of the bigger, broader skill sets too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you get somebody who can do SRE, DevOps, software, then it obviously like it's sort of you don't know what bucket to put them in, right? Almost. So you don't know what will be the right fit skill wise as well as size wise for the company. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get that's a challenge, but then you have to basically apply that aggressive filtering mindset and get the smallest campaign possible, test it first, and go from there. Awesome. Okay, on to my final question then. What are some of the things you're excited about trying to further improve your cold outreach?
Yeah. So I think for me, consistency, it's really easy when you're running full desk and you're handling strategy and there's just so much going on to get a little too choppy with the consistency of outreach. I do think SalesRobot has helped me a lot with that because it simplifies it. I'm really big on like systematic organization, like systematic process, and how I can always be like breaking things into little pieces each day to stay more consistent. And SalesRobot does definitely help me a lot with that, helps me just simplify. And I like things that can break down so like that I can stay being the one that's there for the conversation when it gets started. And I can be behind the strategy, but I can break it up a little easier. Like, hey, team, can you help me make a really good list for this target audience? And it helps me just divide and conquer a lot better too. And so, yeah, just being able to get a good flow and consistency all the time, which, yeah, Sales Robot has helped me a lot with. And then I think sometimes when it's busy, it's easy to like you've got your sequences and you're just adjusting them a little bit and to like continually remind myself to step back and still think about strategies, still think about, what's working, always staying in that mindset of continually tweaking and not just getting too comfortable with, same kind of flow that's been working in the past and not like you're reinventing the wheel, but stepping back a little bit too. So I think those are the two things that, yeah, I'd like to focus the most on going forward.
That makes a ton of sense to me. That is all the time we have today, Heather. So, for the people who want to find out more about you online, where can they find you?
Yes, so I'm on LinkedIn. There's the Lead Line website, but yeah, LinkedIn's, I mean, in the recruiting space, always the easiest way I would say to find me. So Heather Alcaraz at Lead Line on LinkedIn, and yeah, love to connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate your insights.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sarav.
Awesome.